Welcome everybody, this is Heroes and Brews with Nerdy Dudes. We are your friendly neighborhood Beeroes. My name is Ty, across the internet is Kev, and from Queensland, Australia, we got Mick Ashton from the YouTube channel Mick the Middleman. Welcome to the show, my man.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me, fellas. How are we today?
Well, we're doing good tonight. You're in the middle of the day. We got a 14-hour difference going on. How is your day going so far?
But it's fantastic. So if you want to know what's happening in the future, it's a little bit cloudy at the moment. Definitely good chance of beer.
Great chance of beer. It's always a good chance of beer. So we want to get into what you're drinking. So what are you drinking over there? Because, you know, there's not often that we get to talk to people from different countries. So we're curious.
Yeah, man. Well, okay, so it is only, it just turned afternoon. It was morning a couple of minutes ago. So we are starting off with a juice.
Nice.
So this one here is from a home delivery service that I get that gives you random beers. This is a nice, hazy, juicy beer farm, but I don't know anything about them. So I can't promote them whatsoever. Except for, that's a nice juice.
But you did show us a bunch of Star Wars related beers to your right.
Oh, yes, I did.
So into the nerd factor of this, I would love for you to show those.
All right, okay. So this one is my favorite New England IPA from Hop Nation. This one here is a Jedi juice.
That's awesome.
It's what a good image. Princess Leia, Jedi juice, a New England IPA. That's a perfect style of beer for that freaking can right there.
I know.
What they had to do though, they got a cease and assist for this. So this can was the last can commercially available to purchase before they had to change the image just slightly. I can't remember what they do. I think they just changed the name of the image slightly, but yeah, they got a cease and assist for that one. I'm surprised they had this out for 2 years before they got that though.
That's wild.
So, was the image like? Can you hold that can up, Nick, again one more time? Sorry.
Okay.
That's spot on, Princess Leia. That's why.
I mean, I can kind of see like so she kind of has tattoos now. Was the other can? So was that the new can design for that one?
This is the old can. This is
that's
too
old
much
can.
to do it, and they can't use Jedi juice. I can't remember what they actually did it now, but yeah, this is the old can, and I just really like their design, so I needed to keep it. A 7.1%, so it's not.
That's a good percentage.
Okay.
The lights on the sport.
I love that. That's awesome.
That one's cool. And then got another one from Holgate Brewing. This one is the X-Wing.
X-Wing.
That's so sick. Oh my god. So did they? Is that the same brewing company or is that a different?
No, this one is Holgate Brewing, and that one is Hop Nation. There is so many breweries in Australia now. In the state that I'm in, Queensland, is the fastest growing state. Go back 8 months ago, and there was 2 craft breweries opening every week for a good 8 months.
That's wild.
So, yeah, just well, we finally got into it. We have a thing called Gabs, which is like just a conglomerate of craft beer. So they have events, and they all make a Gabs beer or things like that. And they have a top 100. So the top 100 beers get voted on, blah, 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 blah. Now, Gabs, I kind of lost the track I was onto. I went on to another one. Hang on.
I'm going to join you in that,
Yeah, I might need another sip, actually. Hang on.
So it's funny because going into like the Star Wars stuff, Jess said on Facebook, Disney is so crazy about their copyright stuff, and it's so true. I was looking at so I started using Streamlabs for our streaming for Heroes and Brews, and they literally say in a context, don't use Disney GIFs because they will come after you. No matter how small you are, they will make sure that GIF is gone within days.
Yes, I do NBA breaks now, live NBA breaks, and I do it through the YouTube channel. And my starting intro, I did a collage of dancing NBA players to the song "I Like to Move It, Move It."
I love it.
But it's mixed with Afro Circus.
Nice.
Okay.
I like to move it, Afro Circus. Yeah, because my whole thing's called Ashton's Cardboard Circus, so he just kind of fell. But every time I go live, and it's just a live, instant copyright claim.
Yeah.
Instant.
Yeah.
It's wild because it gives them more recognition, regardless of how small or big these channels are. It's gonna give you recognition. People are like, oh, I like that song. What is that song called? Shazam it! Like then you're gonna get more people listening to your song. So for me,
I'm the same way with merch. Why am I paying Jack Daniels? Why am I paying $50 for a Jack Daniels shirt? Where if I'm wearing it, it's free advertising for the company, or a car, or a beer brewery company. I'd rather give 100 shirts away and get 100 eyes.
Yeah.
On that branding.
It's true. It's free branding.
Yeah.
And Disney, like just again said, Disney has more than enough money to to not worry about that kind of stuff, and that's just gonna give them more eyes on everything.
Yeah, Disney controls the world.
Their main money makers closed at the moment. They need that cash.
They need cash. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really hurting right now.
So I'm curious, what is your favorite brewing company by you? Because obviously we don't know like names in Australian brewing companies, but I'm curious to what yours is, and I'm curious to know if we've heard of them before.
Okay, well, one I'd have to say is in the Rocks in Sydney. Motorvale in Sydney. Modus Operandi.
Nice.
It's a company that I do events for and stuff. I really enjoy this company. I was a avid fan before I started working for him, and then basically just came across the rep and just hit it off with him. And he's like, "Hey, dude, you're a good chatter. Do you want to start doing this?" Yeah, man. Pay me in beer. So yeah, got Modus. But my local, I have to say, Ether Brewing. You wouldn't have heard of it. It is only a local Brisbane kind of thing. It's just 20 minutes away from me. Actually, I got one of their cans. I did a review on this one on my channel, but this one is the IPA.
I love that freaking can design.
Yeah, it's great.
They did one of my favorite beers. Oh yeah, I've still got a can of it. Called the Mango Sticky Rice IPA. It was a little bit more orange and juicier than that.
Mm-hmm.
The first sip or the second sip, it was like a atomic bomb hitting your taste buds. But after you got about that way through, man, you either loved it or hated it, and it was my beer of the year.
Wow. Beer of the year, I like that.
Yeah. Get the can. Gotta get the can.
Yes, I want to head over that way and try that beer of the year right there.
I know, man. We got to get out to Australia, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I've got to try to get them to make it again because it was only a limited.
So they have really good can designs. I really like that.
And this is only a small brewery that can their own stuff on site.
Wow.
Yeah, that sunset of the first one you showed, the sunset was beautiful.
Yes.
It looked almost real.
That finish kind of labeling that one. They did well on that one.
That's the kind of beer, especially with the look of it, I just want to drink at night, watching the sunset, just enjoying life, and knowing I'm going to bed feeling great.
Yeah, it was a little bit dank, but it was still bloody good.
Now, juicy IPAs, so I would say here in the U.S., I know that within the past, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 years, those New England style IPAs have been very, very popular. So it seems it has gravitated towards this is coming from a US perspective. It's just kind of interesting that even in Australia, those style IPAs seem to be the most popular, would you say?
Absolutely. Hazy's, because hazy kind of covers a few categories and kind of spreads itself. You put hazy there, it could mean a few different things.
Sure.
So that has become a majority category, absolutely. when it comes to Australia, we generally used to be about 4 to 7 years behind you guys in trends. So whatever's happening now in about 5 years is what will happen over here. But now I think with the internet and being able to get things quicker and everything like that, I think that's shortened to about 2 or 3 years. So, did you guys go through the brute phase?
A little bit.
Briefly.
Yeah, very quickly.
Briefly,
it
yeah.
like maybe 13 days of the brute phase and the hype, and then it just kind of, not interested anymore.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, it's interesting you say that. Like I honestly I forgot about it until you just mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was really like it was in and then it was out. Me, like personally, I tried a few different brute IPAs. The dryness, like almost shady kind of taste, wasn't for me in a beer style. And I'm saying, like, I'm assuming because I didn't like it, no one else made it.
That's how it works, right?
Maybe that's why it kind of faded out. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it didn't. Okay, it was a novelty beer. So, like, if they end up making that, being able to make the helium-infused beer that was kind of going around as a video for a while, that would go really well for about 3 weeks. You know?
Yeah.
It did, like the brute, it did not grasp enough people. Okay, so brute, very stereotypical here, but that is a little bit more of your mid-30s, early 40s female style enjoyment because they're into their champers and those dry wines.
Yes.
Sure. So your younger wine drinkers are more into the sweeter stuff. Same with your beer guys. We will go anything, but it needs to have flavor. And a brute is too dry, and the flavor just drops off, and it's too grapey. I want beer, not a wine beer.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you 100%.
And with the hazies, you can get all different flavors, especially from the different fruits and stuff. There's a whole a scale of different tastes you can get from doing hazy IPAs, and that's why I love them. I love all the different fruity mints and different tastes you can get from a hazy IPA.
Yeah, from one to another, like you might have a bit more of a mandarin, then your next one will have a bit more of a passion fruit, and then you go a bit more of a rot melon, and just I do love the variety that the hazies can get you. Yeah, that's why I think the category's open.
For hazy IPAs with me, I'm honestly kind of on the fence. There have been hazy IPAs that I've had over the past few years where I almost felt like I was drinking juice rather than a beer. And that's what I want to drink a beer. I want it to taste like beer.
Kev wants his straight beer taste.
About 2 or 3 videos ago, you guys did, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably. I feel like I kind of said this quite often. But I mean, so that there have been a few hazy IPAs, and I feel like that on some that I've had recently, they've kind of tweaked it to where I'm like, okay, I'm drinking a beer here. But there have been some in the past when I don't know if it was breweries that were kind of adapting this, okay, this New England style is kind of popular. Let's see what we can do with this. But it kind of felt like I was drinking a glass of orange juice and I wasn't drinking a beer. So, I mean, me, I kind of lean more towards like, for us in the US, I don't know if in Australia, I'm kind of curious to know, we have something known as a West Coast IPA, which is a very like piney, citrusy kind of IPA. It's more translucent, obviously. It's a classic.
West Coast are really good here for the summertime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
West Coast IPAs go really well. I've got a couple of West Coast in the fridge. When I first had the West Coast, I wasn't a huge fan, only because more of I think it was the Simcoe hop that was in it. I wasn't into earthy, piney kind of flavors.
Sure.
But then my palate developed, and now I quite enjoy them. Where something bitter, and I might have only been an IBU of about 55, but that scared me a couple of years ago. I couldn't get into that because I was just very domestic Australian kind of lagers and ales. So Now my palate's developed. The juicier the better for me, because I do love a nice body, a nice citrusy, fruity, juicy product. But it's, where do you draw the line? Do I just put some vodka and some OJ?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm different though. I like that. I want that orangey taste sometimes. I like when beers have these different flavors to them because, brewing companies and brewmasters can experiment with all different things. Like, Kev's so different with me. There's a brewing company in Pennsylvania by us, Evil Genius. They'll try, Lucky Charms in their beer. They'll do, pretzels in their beer. And I'm all for that. I want to taste all of that. I want to try it because I know that I will enjoy it. He'll be like, nah, why would I want pretzels in my beer? I want beer in my beer.
I'll try that stuff, but it's when they start going like, okay, so in our first podcast kind of stuff, we did a lot of swill or swerve, a segment that was like, would you swill it or would you swerve this? And there was stuff made from like yeast from Roald Dahl's chair and pencil. There was the creamiest stout in the world that was hand pumped from a bull. What else? There was an oyster beer. There was one made from a beer festival recycled piss. So if you had a piss at that festival, it went through the recycling process, and that went into the beer. So that's a off. No, thank you. But Lucky Charms, maybe.
I know. Like now thinking about it, I'm like, I'd rather take the Lucky Charms than like piss brewed beer. I'd rather just do that, or it tastes like birthday cake or something. But I know it sounds like an old man when I say it. I'm like, I want my beer to taste like beer, but like, I don't know. Sometimes
whippers don't know what beer is.
I know it's ridiculous, but I do. I want my beer to like. Listen, I get it. Like styles are always evolving, and it's a competitive industry, and you want to. You want to be, on top of your game and surpass the other guy. And
you can be individual. I think that's a bonus, but there's a point where you can go too much. There's a brewery that releases a limited product every week, and be buggered if I've tried half of them because there's just too many pumping out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets overwhelming at times.
Yeah.
And we talked with a local brewing company here in Pennsylvania, and I had mentioned like the craft beer bubble, and I'd be curious to know in Australia if you've kind of talked about the similar thing. Like, do you think it's a certain point where it's going to burst? And I think Ty, correct me if I'm wrong, from his perspective, he doesn't think it's going to burst. He doesn't think it's like overcrowded at all. But I don't know. I'm kind of Nick. I'm kind of curious to know your perspective on it.
Okay, well, I haven't thought about it too much, but there's basically always has to be some sort of burst to an inflational item or hobby, whatever we're calling it. It has to get to a certain point and either plateaus or kind of takes a step back, because once something gets too popular, people get into it for the wrong reasons. And they're just trying to basically make a buck on it. Those people won't last.
Yes.
They will cause the burst, if there is a burst. But I don't think it's going to be like a explosion. Oh, there we go. 3/4 of all the craft breweries are done now. That would have happened through COVID, if that was going to happen. With the company that you were interviewing last time, they adapted. They were doing deliveries and that kind of stuff. We've had that with some of our locals. We did an interview just last week up at the Glasshouse Mountains, just at Sunshine Coast. They adapted doing deliveries of pizza and beer because they couldn't have people in their brew house. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to a burst, but only the people that don't know what they're doing, I reckon, will be the ones that get out.
Yeah, and I think there's so much support within craft beer worldwide, especially like fans of craft beer. We will support the brewing companies that we love, that we know that are going to do a good job and give us delicious things to taste all the time. And that's what, Kevin and I have spoken about a lot, and I could probably say the same for you. Craft beer, community is very supportive because, if we like what you're distributing, we're going to go to you all the time. And we don't want you to fail during times like this. So you're going to have tons of people coming to your door saying, hey, I want this beer. And it's been cool to see brewing companies make new beers during this time too for us to try. So that's what, that's what gives me hope within the craft beer, industry, that we have these companies that care about us a lot and we rely on each other. And that's what I think is really cool.
They care about each other too. I don't know if it's the same over there, but in Australia, if one brewery is like, crap, we've just run out of this grain or this hops or this product to do this process or this item or this hardware, mate, they'll just ring up the brewery down the road and be like, oh, mate, you got one of these, or you got something? Yeah, mate, I'll be there in a second. Get a beer poured for me. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
There is. Can you tell me any other industry that you could ring up a competitor and go, mate, you got this? Yeah, sure, I'll bring that around to you.
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
Nothing.
None.
100%. Actually, I've been I've been watching a lot of documentaries. Actually, Amazon Prime or Prime Video has fantastic beer documentaries. If either of you have not checked them out, I would definitely just do beer documentaries. A whole slew of documentaries comes up. One in particular is Port in Pennsylvania, ironically, or Port in PA, and they discuss that topic of this brotherhood, sisterhood of the breweries, and if someone is lacking in this ingredient, then you call your another local brewery and say, hey, we're kind of screwed right now. We need this malt or this hop, and they kind of have your back instead of like, screw you, like forget you. Thank God for that, which is really cool, and it's really awesome that you mentioned that, because I can't think of another industry that has that kind of camaraderie. I've
been in a few different industries, and any competitive industry, like craft beer is a competitive industry.
Sure.
You would not have that happening at all. It's fantastic. It's a camaraderie.
It's a tough word.
Kev can say it. I can't say it.
It's a great family thing.
Yeah. Kev's good with the words. That's not me. I stumble over my words all the time.
It all works up here.
I throw it to him. Yeah.
I'm surprised after all these years and stuff like that I can still say that word. I don't know. We'll see how it goes throughout the conversation, but yeah.
And it's funny.
Nice.
So Gina says, "Yeah, give me fruity beer." I'm all for fruity beer. I love fruity beer. I like those different tastes. Like there's a brewing company, 21st Amendment Brewing Company. They have a Hell or High watermelon. You got those watermelon notes in it. Love it. Can drink that all day.
Like a lolly sweet watermelon, or watermelon as in because watermelon's kind of pretty dull in its flavor, right?
Yeah.
But you can taste that sweetness. It's like that a little hint of sweetness that watermelon has.
Very subtle. It's not.
It's subtle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good, because too much flavor in certain things. But watermelon on a sunny day. Yeah, that would go down all right.
Yeah, it's very easy. My girlfriend, she's not a big beer person, but the Hell or High watermelon loves. And there's a pina colada beer from Warcross Brewing Company. If you like pina coladas, it's literally, initial taste pina colada, the aftertaste a little bit of an ale. It is out of this world. It's so good.
I don't think I've ever had a pina colada.
No?
No. Well, I live on the biggest island in the world, but I don't think I've had a pina colada. I think you talked about that in a couple of video goes as well, because I remember you talking about a pina colada. I'm
yes.
Like, the hell is a pina colada?
You gotta go to a bar and just ask for a pina colada. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know if Australia has pina coladas.
In Australia?
But it's a coconut pineapple kind of a taste.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's a very fancy fruity mixed drink.
Yeah. It's like if you're on vacation, you're drinking a pina colada, and it's delicious.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to try.
I'd have my man card taken away from me if I walk into a pub around here and ask for a pina colada.
Most likely, yes. Yes, that's
Yeah.
100% what's happening. I'm gonna have to try and find a way to send you a bunch of different beers from this area and see your thoughts on this.
Yeah, man. I think it's the postage that kills, man. That I've tried it before with a bunch of American brewers and stuff, and just the postage is shocking.
Yeah,
I get
amazing.
cards sent over, and it might only be a little box like that, but it still costs me $100 Australian to get sent.
It's wild.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
So
actually, that's something we can talk about. The price of beer in Australia.
Let's hear it.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what an average beer costs?
No.
Okay, so let's pick something that's not overly. Okay, so 1.6. So that's a 5.5% IPA.
Okay.
Now, buying that individual would probably be about $8.
Oh wow.
Buying that in a 4-pack would be about 24.
Wait, that size or like a bigger size?
Yeah, no, that size.
That's wild.
If it's 440s or 500s, you're talking about $12, $16 on average. If it's about a 6%, 7%. This one is a 7.1%, so that would be a good $9. 30 something as a 4-pack.
Oh
What
my
the
god.
28 as a 4-pack, something like that. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's all tax, and it's all tax.
That's wild. For us,
Yeah,
there's a lot of 4-packs that are like 16-ounce cans, and they go like a 4-pack goes for like $20, sometimes like 16, sometimes 14. That's wild.
We could get for $16. We could get a 4.4% domestic lager.
That's wild.
Wow. Oh my god.
Might be more of a 19.
That's crazy because I'm thinking, like, the popular thing, like the trend that I'm seeing over here in the U.S. is these pounder cans, these 16-ounce cans you'll sell in a 4-pack, like Ty said.
Yeah.
And then if you were to get a craft beer in a 12-pack over here in the U.S., regular, 12-ounce can, you're probably spending no more than $30 over here, I guess, for that. Which over here we're still like, what are you doing, ripping me off? But then I'm like, okay, never mind.
A 16-pack, because a lot of craft beer in here comes in 16 packs. You're looking $60 to $90,
Jeez.
maybe 120 for something that's a 7%, 8%.
That's wild.
Oh my god!
And that's Australian dollars.
Yeah.
Our Australian dollar is 64 cents to $1 American dollar at the moment. So you convert that as well.
Yeah, but it's still wild how much that is.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That is mind blowing to me.
That's what I thought. There's a lot of people I've spoken to, they didn't realize. They've heard it's expensive, but they're thinking, oh, maybe twice what ours is. No, we're about 4 or 5 times the price.
Yeah, seriously. Like, no joke.
I couldn't even imagine over here in the U.S. like spending $100 on like a case of beer.
Yeah, well, craft beer.
I was going to one of the podcast's mates' 40th birthday a couple of weeks ago, and I bought 6 or 7 beers, and that cost me $80-something.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
You buy them individually, and they're at their highest price, and they did and that was with a 20% discount for being a Aussie beer podcast too.
I don't even know like how to wrap my head around that. Like, I would have to have like 10 jobs. Fill my like beer need, I guess. Like
you definitely allocate money. It's just like an electricity bill or your rent.
But you need that damn beer. You got to drink that beer.
It's pretty much the third thing in the budget that you're writing out for the week.
So I want to go into your podcast, the Sunday Sesh. What is that about? What are you guys talking about? Is it mainly beer or? I love it.
I love you mention it. We've gone away from this Three Stooges style now, and we've gone into a like a microphone kind of rockabilly kind of aspect picture. But yeah, what do? We're three Aussie mates who love craft beer, love talking about craft beer, love putting shit on each other, but don't really know what we're talking about. If that sounds like your kind of thing, come on over to the
It's like me and Kev, we pretend we know what they're talking about, but we don't. Yeah. We just, we just go on the way.
Yeah. We will be the first ones that say we don't know shit. We just love craft beer. We have a passion for it. And the good thing with us three, we've got three total different personalities and tastes. So you've got the two Steves and me. So Mick. So you got SMS. That's kind of how we started with the SMS. We were drunk. I was doing one of my videos for the YouTube channel. This is before we thought about doing something. And drunkenly someone said, SMS, we've got a message for you. And that kind of bad joke really
so me. That is fantastic. I was hoping, because I heard SMS you say it, I was hoping you were going to go that route. And you guys freaking nailed it with that.
Yeah. Like, so good. We've got a message for you. Yeah. So we've kind of phased the SMS out a little bit because people were confused. Do we call them Sunday Sesh or are they the SMS? How do we search them? So we tried to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we are really loving it. We've only been doing it for a couple of years now, probably not even quite 2 years now. We started off just sitting in the shed with the kids playing in the background. That's a bad idea. And then developed into we're probably one of the best sounding podcasts in Australia, only because of the equipment that we have. Because our producer Steve / editor, he used to be in a band and everything, and he used to be the audiophile guy, so he is stupid into quality, which is fantastic, but we're not getting paid for anything at the moment. We're only getting free beer and stuff, so it doesn't need to be polished like a shiny turd. Just let it smell like we should.
Yeah, but honestly, free beer on your end sounds like you're getting paid $100 per freaking beer. So I mean,
So we get sent full ranges to do brewery to do reviews on, and yeah, that would be about $130. No, you're right. We do get paid for it.
So I want to go into now our topic for the week because you're as nerdy as us. We wanted to do our top 3 Marvel villains. I don't know if I should start. Mick, do you want to start? Kev, do you want to start?
Make notes. I don't do notes.
He's got notes.
He's got notes.
Notes.
Right. Mick, since you're the guest, I feel like we should start with you. We'll start with you.
All right. Well,
so wait, before we go, because I made this fucking mistake. Sorry for my cursing. I made the mistake 2 weeks ago. Maybe 3 weeks ago. Start with number
1.
Yes, so start with 3, not with 1.
3, 2,
That's
1.
part of my notes.
Start with 3.
Start with 3. I've actually got it number 3, 2, 1. So
nice.
Just to okay, so this took a little bit of thinking, because I've never, as I messaged you, I never thought about the villains other than just being the protagonist of the story before. So this was actually really good to put a bit of thought into something that I just brushed over and thought, that was cool. I like that helmet. Ooh, does that well. So my number 3, it's split between 2.
Okay.
I can go with 1. I do have a main one. But the main one would be Mystique from the first X-Men movie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Not the latest ones where she's whatever the hell character she is and whatever her backstory's supposed to be. I like the way she was when Toad was in there. He got struck by lightning. Mystique was, I like that.
I love that too. I agree.
I like that one. Yeah.
I like that one. But my second, the kind of second / one to that, Killmonger.
Yes.
That was just super epic as a movie. I'd never heard of Killmonger before. Never even got into any of the Black Panther stuff because it wasn't readily available over here as much. But yeah, really liked his character, but could have been the actor.
Yeah, Michael B. Jordan was fantastic
He
as
was.
Killmonger. He put that character on a freaking pedestal. I loved him as a villain because when he just took the throne from T'Challa, that was one of the most epic things I've seen for like a protagonist. It was so thrilling when he burnt what was it, that whole like lair of the Black Panther. He burnt it because he wanted to be the last one. I'm like, this is perfect. Like every bit of the way for Killmonger was sick. He was obviously he was one of my favorite MCU villains, bar none.
I think Killmonger is a perfect example of what Marvel did so well. Was they would take characters, whether it was a hero character or a villain, and they made you care about it because not only did they choose the right actor for it or actress for it, but the way that they wrote the character in their films for characters that I'm sure the majority of the world wasn't familiar with, they all of a sudden made you care about that character. So Killmonger
wins on stage.
Yeah, I agree with you. I never knew anything about Killmonger until I saw that film, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I want to know more about Black Panther, and I want to know more about his villains and the backstory of Black Panther and so on and so forth. So that's a good choice, man. That was actually almost on my list. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the next number 3. Kev, sorry if you were ready to go, but I'm gonna fly back to the next two, number 3 and number 2 villains for me. Start from when I was younger. The animated series for both X-Men and Spider-Man. First one, number 3, being the Juggernaut. We saw him in Deadpool 2. It was more of a comical role, because, obviously with Ryan Reynolds. Yeah, right? So obviously they want to make a joke with the Juggernaut. But for me, my dad, he's a big bodybuilder guy. I like to relate to characters like the Hulk, like Thing, like Juggernaut to my dad. So that's why I have more appeal, because he's just got muscle on freaking muscle. Nice. And I love how much, seeing this big guy in metal plating just fight the X-Men. He was just this force to be reckoned with, especially in the animated series. And to top it off, the big meme that's occurred from X-Men, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. And the animated dub that people put over it made me love this villain even more. Because when I was in high school, I had that on my iPad on, not iPad, it was the iPod video back in the day. And I had that video on my iPod to watch over and over again. So that's why Juggernaut is number 3 for me.
Nice. I like that one. I like
Good
it
choice,
a lot.
man. Good choice.
All right, Kev?
Did you want to do number 2? Also,
no, Kev, you got to go number 3.
Oh, number 3? Okay, so...
Yeah, I just split mine into 2 because I can't choose. I can't...
It's tough. I know. I made the list and I was like, well, wait, really? And I was the one who made this segment up. I was like, let's do our 3 top Marvel villains. And then when I was like, wait, I can't even do this myself. So I tried really hard, but my 3rd is Green Goblin from Spider-Man.
Yes.
And I think what made me love Green Goblin over the years is, and actually I recently watched the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man like weeks ago. But I think the dynamic between Norman Osborn and Peter Parker and this father figure to Peter Parker, I've always loved that kind of dynamic that like when the masks are off, they have this really close relationship and like, one really trusts in the other. And then when the masks are on, they're enemies. And I've always loved that kind of dynamic between hero and villain.
That was very much the movie presence, was it? It wasn't very much in the cartoons, though, was it? They didn't have that.
No, not in the cartoons. They didn't.
Correct. I can't remember from like the '90s, like animated Spider-Man series, like anything like that. But the way that Sam Raimi, I guess, introduced that is what really made me love.
He is Green Goblin.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Willem Dafoe. He was a brilliant.
That face, man. He has the Green Goblin face.
I mean, I'm a little biased, and I kind of wish that someone cast him as the Joker at some point. I mean, come on.
Yes.
But for real, like, I think Norman Osborn was a great character for him to portray. I love the dynamic between him and Peter Parker. But Green Goblin probably is my third, Marvel villain of all time as of right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Mick, you're number 2.
All right, I don't have a bunch here. It's just one. Hang on, there it is. Venom.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome choice.
Now he has kind of turned into a slight anti-hero, but that's when I said, "Oh, can we add anti-heroes in this? Because I cannot just do villains." I really like the movie. It would have been better if it was an R18. I think they could have taken it there.
Yes.
But I really enjoy the premise of that. I think once again, number 2 is going to be a bit better, where they're not trying to get the whole character development going. They're kind of just straight into it, like Sonic will be. But yeah, I've always been a fan of Venom. Spider-Man's one of my favorite heroes, and Venom's just Venom. Like Carnage, he's not quite there for me. Never really liked the character of him because he hasn't got personality.
No,
he's just directive. Where Venom, there's a personality with Venom, especially when they've adapted him into the this TV series when he's which one is that one? Whether in Spider-Man ends up becoming the leader of the Shield task force, the young one. Yeah, that one. Where it's Biff. It's not Biff. He's from Back to the Future. What's the
Venom's. The human persona of Venom.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about? Why can't I forget? All I'm thinking is Tom Hardy. All of a sudden.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah, you got Eddie Brock. Yeah. What in the one where they're kind of high school level?
Yes.
Is he Eddie Brock?
Yes.
He's got a nickname, hasn't he? There's something I don't know. I'm connecting something there. It's like it's not Biff. I can tell you that. But it's something like. But anyway, Venom is my number 2.
Which he was so close to being in my top 3.
Yeah.
I love, like you said, Carnage is like, like a tertiary, just like, we had one symbiote as Spider-Man's, villain. Why don't we do a third and have like a triple threat match? But I'm not for that. Venom was perfect. The black Spider-Man, I should say, with the skin, and the way he was just, he goes off, trying to think of the word, just instinct. He's straight instinct, survival mode, and I think that's really cool. And then he sees Spider-Man, and he wants to be the sole Spider-Man in a sense, and will do what he needs to try and defeat Peter Parker. And it's cool to see Spider-Verse Spider, even though, Peter Parker got bit by a spider, he's just like an alien symbiote. And I've always thought that was a really cool, theme for them. I thought it was really cool because you got alien versus human, and that's always a good battle.
You can't have someone else being been bit by a radioactive spider. You can only have one.
Yeah.
In the universe. Yeah. So yes, they treated that well.
Yes.
I with the Venom film, I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm hit or miss with like the live action movie, but I will say, for me, after watching the film, what I really enjoyed about the film was the bipolar dynamic between Eddie Brock and
the alien symbiote.
And the sort of like, I don't know, communication between the two, I thought was really fascinating. That was probably my favorite part of that entire movie.
That's definitely the best part of the movie. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so my second is actually your third, which is Mr. Green Goblin. Because when I was a kid, watching that animated series, stuck out to me was, the scary goblin face. You got the glider going on, and you had the pumpkin bombs. I don't know if you remember those, but those pumpkin bombs will always stick in my brain because I loved it. He was throwing them at Spider-Man, throwing them at buildings. In the Sam Raimi, trilogy, that first movie, Willem Dafoe was, like you said, fantastic. And there's so much potential with that character. I know at one point, Green Goblin, in the Marvel Comics, he was, I think he was an Avengers villain at one point. I forget what he took control of. But he just has so much potential because he's smart, he's sadistic, and he will do what he needs to do to stay ahead. And it's always been great to watch that character develop in my eyes.
Yeah. Nice.
Good choice.
All right, Kev, number 2.
Number 2, this was tough, man, but number 2 for me, I chose Kingpin. Kingpin in the animated Spider-Man series, I really enjoyed, but I have to say what really made me love Kingpin even more.
Daredevil.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Netflix Marvel series.
Yes, I loved him in that. Didn't like him in the Spider-Verse. He looked like a bowling ball.
He did. Yeah,
that
he
was
did.
That was a little funky. Yeah, he didn't really have a neck. It was like a head on shoulders. I don't know. Little weird, but I've always loved it. I think there's previous episodes that Ty and I have done where we talked about villains and what I really enjoy about villains. And the Kingpin portrayal in the Marvel Netflix series of Daredevil is something that I love about villains, and it's a vulnerability. We learn about the villain. We get to see why they became the way they are. What the progression from this state to like villain state, and you sort of felt for him in a way, but you also really hated him because of what he was capable of. And there's something about an individual that people turn to and worship and do like his shit for him, and he just kind of sits back for a while, and people just know, like, listen, I gotta do this because if I don't, like, my head's gonna get taken off or get back with like a car door or something like that. There's something about that I'm like, damn, he has power or she has power, whatever. But Kingpin, man, there's just something about that villain that just always, like, there's something, I don't know, that it's disturbing.
He's always like 10 steps ahead. He's smart. He knows, when he's going up against someone or trying to do something, he already knows, like I said, 10 steps ahead. So he knows what's going to happen. He's aware. He's ready. And he'll be ready to fight any hero trying to stop him with what he needs to. And yes, he gets stopped, but he gives up a valiant effort in what he's trying to do.
But
and it's not
stopped. He knows he's going to get stopped because he knows how he's going to get out of it and then do the next thing. And there's something about like Kingpin and intelligence and that high level of intelligence that kind of freaks me out. So I think that's why Kingpin is my number 2 right now. Yeah.
I like it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Mick, you're number 1 top villain in Marvel.
Okay, so number 1, I had to go with the anti-hero, Deadpool.
Love it.
Like, you can't go past Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds has made Deadpool just the character of the 2000s.
Yes, easily.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I said I would never get into this the pops, the pop vinyls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said I would never get into that crap. It's what's the point? Yeah, and then they brought out Deadpool. So I think at last I got about 17 different Deadpools.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Ty, do you have all 17 of the Deadpool pops?
I got some there. I got some there. I got some back there. Hold on, wait, there. I got some under my bed. I got some over here. I got a mess of them.
I kind of went a little bit silly, and there's my little wall.
I love it.
That's hasn't got any Deadpools there. Deadpools are in a certain cabinet in my room. So that's not in Deadpool.
Dude, once you go pops, you never go back. I got my
I know,
cousin
right?
into them.
And then they brought out the NBA pops, and there's a $200 Upper Deck exclusive Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Hold on, ready for this?
I got the 10-inch Jordan. I just got that last week.
Kevin actually got this for me for my birthday 2 years ago. It's Deadpool versus Cable from the movie.
Oh,
That's
You're welcome.
that one. I gotta show off my.
Oh, the big Michael Jordan. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah, it is. I got the hold on. Where's my hold on, time out. I'll get a big one too. Hold on.
Okay, I'm gonna go get a beer.
You get a beer.
Extravaganza. That's a good idea. I need a beer too, actually.
Big
You
ass
got the llama.
the Fortnite llama. I got glares going on, but this thing is gigantic.
Oh my gosh. I know, I love that they turn into like Marvel villains, and so like what pop Funkos do we have? Unfortunately, I don't have any of mine with me. Which kind of, they're in a storage unit right now.
Storage unit.
I know. But
Jesco's Funkos. Oh man.
Right, I'm gonna grab a beer. I'll be right back.
All right, you go back. So I'm gonna go in. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say, I was about to buy the other day the 18-inch the Batman pop.
Yes. It's so good. Dude, it's so hard controlling myself not to buy these things because they're so addicting. My first problem was buying them, and I blame Kevin and my buddy Steve. We went to Barnes & Noble, and they had this guy, Mr. Oliver Queen, as a Funko. They're like, oh, you got to buy it. And I'm like, okay. So I buy one Funko, and then it led to two. Led to freaking 4, 10, 20, 40, 50, and I'm like, where do I stop? I'm like, this is so addicting. They have Funkos. Yes! Hold on. Where is this? I have the same. Wait, hold on. Time out.
You got it?
The best character on the planet. Yes. Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian. I actually got a second one because when they delivered, when Walmart delivered my Baby Yoda, the box was destroyed. And I tweeted them instantly and I said, hey, this is unacceptable. So now I got this clean box one and I have one out of the box chilling in the bedroom.
This is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It is completely acceptable. Kev, now you need Baby Yoda to hang out in your place.
So I am not, and oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I might get a lot of shit for this, but I feel like I've said it before. So I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I've just had a hard time like really grasping Star Wars. I've tried. I really have. Like I've gave it even like my all. However, the Mandalorian series on Disney Plus, I've been like really attracted to.
It's so good. It's fantastic.
Where I'm like, it's not a Star Wars TV show. It's basically it's a Western in space with Star Wars references.
That's a brilliant way to put that. It is absolutely a brilliant way to put it.
And the thing I want to know is like, for someone who doesn't really have a Star Wars background, if I jump into the Mandalorian, am I going to be like, what the hell's going on the whole time?
It's all explained. There's a couple of characters that don't get explained, like you got the one that comes out with the dark saber at the end. He doesn't get explained, but that's gonna be more into the second season anyway.
Yeah.
So yes, I believe you will not be lost, and you will be thoroughly entertained.
Very entertained. It's awesome.
Okay.
I was very happy with how they made it.
All right, I'm gonna give it a shot. Then. I'm convinced.
They couldn't have done it any better for a TV adaptation of that storyline of that character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it'll put you more likely to want to watch the rest of the films and try and like embrace it more because it is that good of a TV series. And it's cool because
when it comes to the films, I would say there's one or two there that you don't need to absolutely watch, or there's certain parts that you can just go past. There's a lot, like in some of them, there's a lot of political bullshit that I
Yeah.
did not enjoy. That's what I don't enjoy about the Star Wars is the political. Just all this. You know, enough of this, more of this.
Yes, I agree with you. When I watch stuff like comic book series and hero series and stuff like that, I don't want things that are real life political in my series. I want to enjoy it for the comic book fun, the action. Like the reason I'm watching this is to get away from real life. Don't put real life into my series.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
So I'm gonna sway back to my number one, for the Marvel villains. My number one Marvel villain, who they've kind of made like an anti-hero as well, is in the MCU is Loki. I think Loki is a fantastic character. You never know what he's going to do because it's always for his own agenda. He will manipulate people to do things to, put him forward. And he's very deceitful. So you're always on edge. Like, what is he doing this for? Why is he doing this? And even
I wasn't a fan in the first few movies he was in.
Yeah.
But I really became a fan after all this stuff is just it all kind of connected and he did this to do this and he played nice and then he played a dick and then the Thor and him, they just do it so well as in everyone has that relative or that little brother or the sister that you freaking hate and they only put you in weird situations or bad situations, but you gotta love them.
Yes.
You gotta love them.
And then also, like, when I watched Infinity War in the beginning, moments when he was trying to converse with Thanos and try and get on his side, I honestly didn't know if he was doing it to stay alive or if he was gonna actually be on Thor's side, because at that moment, he showed his colors that he was with his brother and he was going to be on his side. But then when he was trying to, stay alive, I was like, is he going to turn on Thor just to, live?
He did a, 940 bloody spins. Like, he turned that much.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't get dizzy.
I was proud of him, to take the death. And I'm very excited to see, what they have in store for his, his Disney Plus series, because that's gonna be really cool. How in Endgame, they lost the Tesseract to him when they had him captured. So it's gonna be cool to see how they make it. Yeah, and it's cool to see how they're gonna make his character unfold with that power and with that second chance. So I think
we're going to in his series, we're actually gonna love Loki. We're gonna get to love him because everything will be done on his side and his point of view. And even if he's trying to do something bad, it'll make us feel like, hey, he should get this done. Like he should win this.
Yes.
So he's going to get a little bit more crowd flavored, I think.
I agree.
Good choice, man. Love it.
All right, Kev. Finish us off with your number one.
All right, well, so my number one, I knew right off the bat, before I even made the other two or wrote the other two down. So my number one is Magneto. Magneto, in the 90s X-Men series, there's something about Magneto that I always gravitated towards. And
is it because you're metal and he's Magneto?
Yeah, I was trying to think of a really cheesy pun there. I was trying to develop it in my head, but didn't do it. So I'm glad someone said it. But in the first X-Men film that came out in 2000, was it 2000 or 2001?
I think it's 2001, maybe.
So first off, the opening scene in that first X-Men film, I feel like not enough people talk about it. That whole scene where it's, I think, in a concentration camp.
Yes.
And the Nazi soldiers are trying to take Eric away from his family, and he has his arms out, and the whole fence just bends in.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I'm talking about that scene. That scene, I was just like, what the hell? We need to also talk about that first X-Men movie and what it did. But with that being said, the character Magneto, not even his portrayal in the films from Ian McKellen and Michael Fassbender, who were both brilliant, but the character of Magneto and I don't even know if I'm almost on like the fence of saying he's an anti-hero in a way, because
a little bit, yes.
What storyline you're focusing on, and whether it's the movie, TV show, or something like that. But absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, he just, he loves his kind. He loves his people.
Yes.
And he wants them so badly to just be accepted by people who are not like them.
Well, yeah, true. If there wasn't so much hate for the mutants, he would be the advocate for the mutants.
Yeah.
Professor Xavier would just be a school teacher, and yeah, Magneto would be the face.
It's true.
And also the relationship between Xavier and Magneto.
It's fantastic.
Well, because like Xavier had this love for Magneto. They were brothers, and it's just he's trying so hard to just be like, listen, like I understand your feelings, but let's not go down this road. Let's not go down a violent road. And Magneto, like there was just something about him where he was like, I've tried, and I could, and I can't do that anymore. So I'm going to resort to this. I'm sorry, Charles, but this is how I'm going to be. Like, we could talk about their relationship for hours.
And the thing is, you also have to feel for the mutants too, because they were always so oppressed and no one really liked them. Mm-hmm. So you gotta understand, like, from Magneto's side, like, he's like, I'm done with this. Like, no one's accepting us. And I'm not going to sit here and try and fight to be accepted when no one's going to. And, Xavier had more of, optimistic view of it. But in reality, people were afraid of the mutants. People were afraid of these people with power. So Magneto was done playing these games and was trying to fight for what he believed in.
Xavier had long game goals, and Magneto had the what's happening now.
Yes.
Let's get this done.
100%.
There's something, I don't know. I mean, like, the more that I'm thinking about it, like, I understand that, he's portrayed as a villain in the comics, as a sense to, like, here's the hero side, the X-Men, and here's, Magneto's mutants and what they do and the message that they're trying to portray. But there's something about Magneto. I feel like and again, I feel like I'm kind of repeating myself, but there's something about Magneto and Kingpin, these villains that have this story that are almost relatable. And then kind of see like where they came from and what molded them into what they became. I don't know. I love those kind of villains. I love those villains that it's not just like, oh, you're just the bad guy because you want to blow up the world or take over the world or something. There's more to your story. And the reason that you went on this, dark side, back to Star Wars, so to speak, there's a reason behind that. And if you as a viewer or a reader can go, you know what, I kind of see why they went to this side. I may not agree with it, but I get it.
Absolutely. You get some of these villains that are just so unrelatable and unlovable. You're like, why are these guys following him? Unquestionable. Like where you've got the Kingpin and Magneto and the sorts, you can see why they have loyalty.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why Magneto, there's just so much depth to him, I think.
Yeah.
That I couldn't think of another villain to compete with Magneto. So that's my number one. Yeah.
I like it. I was afraid to touch Thanos because obviously Thanos is freaking the most epic villain in the MCU and in Marvel. But I feel like that would have been a kind of a cop out to go for him number one. So
I lost some respect for him when he turned into the dirty farmer, hobo dirty farmer out in the back.
And then the Avengers came and he's just like, all right, well, whatever you're gonna do to me, just do it because my arm is already fucked and I'm just done.
I've ran out of beer anyway.
He's like, beer is $200 a 12 pack, so.
Oh damn! Half of it's gone.
It's awesome. I love
Mick, I have another question for you. What is your favorite collectible back there behind you? Your action figures.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
He was waiting for.
Let me have a look. This is another thing I don't think about. It's just I have them.
Yes.
So they're not expensive or worth much, but I really enjoy the Duff.
Yo, I love it.
Bottle.
Yes.
Oh, get out of here. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Masters of the Universe, and I don't know why, but I like Orko.
Oh, so good. Yep.
That's got a Prince Adam down the bottom there, but he's
Oh,
he's
yeah,
in a
look at
little.
that.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Well, okay, so it's so hard to say, but okay, this would have to be one of my favorite little sets.
Oh my
Oh, nice. Family Guy. I love it. Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
But to be my absolute favorite collectible that you can see in the shot.
Is that the Giannis?
No, that's a Michael Jordan in Bulls
Oh,
uniform.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
So
Yeah,
I think
that's-
you're quite the NBA fan. You're quite the basketball fan over there.
Massive NBA fan, but more specifically the cards and the hobby of
Yeah.
collecting.
Yeah, that's
I never used to watch NBA games much because we didn't get them over here. I really only watch Bucks games because I'm a Giannis collector. That's just a Giannis rookie card, just a basic rookie card that back in the day was worth about $10. That's been graded 10. This one is worth about $6,000 now.
It's wild.
okay.
It's nice and protected, looking nice. I
Oh,
love
my
it.
Yeah, that's graded by Beckett. So you send that into Beckett over there in the States, and it costs you $40 or something. You get it graded and slabbed, and if it comes out pristine as number 10, that really raises the value
That's
of
cool.
the cards.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah, I love my cards. Actually, I do breaks as well, so I've got about $5,000 worth of stock in boxes sitting behind me too.
Damn.
Okay.
That's impressive.
That is impressive. I don't know. My favorite of your collection, I mean, I only got to see like a small portion, but I think it was the shredder that you had showed me
Oh, yes.
pre-filming.
The shredder looks good, but the
little biased, but
the
yeah.
Splinter looks a little bit better.
Oh my gosh, you have Splinter also?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
my
the Splinter is actually really well designed.
Yeah, it's very well detailed,
Wow.
too.
Oh,
Love the pizza in the top corner.
oh my god.
Perfect.
The pizza and then the ooze canister.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Shredder's good though. Like that's
Yeah,
really
Shredder is good.
well.
Come on,
Exactly.
get out of here. Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm slacking. I feel like I'm gonna be spending a lot of money in the next few minutes.
We gotta go to another Comic-Con, Kevin. Just buy a bunch of shit.
I know. Oh my. Yeah, I miss when. Remember when Comic-Con was a thing, man?
Yeah, before pre-corona. Yeah.
We used to go to Comic-Con.
When you could all
I've only
pack
ever
in.
been to one Comic-Con.
Yeah, you could pack into one building of just a shit ton of people and not worry about getting a disease, a
Yeah,
virus.
no, it doesn't work within the doors, right?
Yeah, yeah. Once you enter, you're immune. There's no corona.
Yeah,
You're just in there.
They said no, we just don't let it in, sir. So you're quite. You're quite
I just
I love
remember.
it.
Yeah, Comic-Cons was when they started incorporating beer into Comic-Con was like a really bad thing because after that happened, I was like, I'm gonna
That was my
buy it.
first Comic-Con. That's when we went with the Brawlers, Yards Brawler.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a Philly brewery over here called Yards, which is this guy's favorite. And had a few of their beers, and then I was like, I'm gonna buy everything that's in this Comic-Con. And then when I got home and I woke up the next day, I was like, what the freak did I buy?
Yeah, I've done that. I'll show you something that I came up with that I didn't even know I bought. And because someone put it into the car for me, I forgot about it until the next day.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's amazing.
So you got it, and then you woke up the next day and you were like, holy shit, where did this come from?
Yes,
That's
because
awesome.
I went with a mate, and he's the kind of mate that's very, very distracting. And he's like, "There's a pub over there, let's go." So 4 hours later, we went back in, and apparently I walked out with this, but I bought it, and I'm like, "Here, have this. Can you hold it?" And he did, and he put it in the boot, and I forgot all about it. And then he gave it to me the next day. I'm like, Oh damn!
That thing's
awesome.
sick. Yeah, that is really cool.
So that's a Transformers meets Ghostbusters.
Yes, that is a Comic-Con exclusive.
That's awesome.
Optimus Prime Ghostbusters.
Oh, it's Optimus Prime. That's sick.
Optimus Prime.
That might be the nerdiest
Oh shit!
of my life.
I love it, dude. That's probably worth so much freaking money. I've never seen that.
Well, he told me I spent over 300 on it, so probably 350, something like that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
That's always the best. Like, yeah, check out how much you spent on it.
Yeah,
like, yeah, how much it's worth now is probably a shit ton because I've never seen an Optimus Prime Ghostbusters collab piece ever in my life.
I'm getting the Ecto 1 Transformer, so it's the Ecto 1 that transforms, and that's only about, I think it's probably about that size, maybe a bit bigger. But yeah, I'm getting that as well because I need the set. I need to put them both together. Yeah,
that'd be really freaking cool to have.
I can't even wrap my head around that. That's the nerdiest thing I've ever heard of mine. Sorry.
I love it. It makes me so happy.
I know. That's fantastic.
I only went to the Comic-Con to get autographs, and I wanted oh shit, I can't even remember his name at the moment, but yeah, I just wanted an autograph from one dude, and he turned out to be one of the best guys that actually saw me out in the thing and oh, come over here, and we had a chat for like 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
Not in any events, not in any signings. I just got a signature from him, had a quick chat to him, talked about a couple of his TV shows, and then he saw me. He's like, "Hey, dude, come over here." And come and have a photo. You getting a photograph? No, I don't have any tickets for it. Oh no, don't worry about that. Oh, sweet. Christian Kane.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
He is one of my favorite actors. I've been watching him in Leverage. Well, actually, I'm rewatching Leverage, and Librarians, and the other stuff he's been in, and just man, I love his characters.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I know I don't really have much claim to fame with Comic-Con. I mean, Ty has actually met Stephen Amell. I urinated next to Stephen Amell.
You did.
That's
You were
really, like,
you pissed right
popular
next to him.
Right next to you. You were in a lavatory, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
not just too much beer.
Well, it was a kind of a combination of both.
Well, you had too much beer. He just had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
so we were curious because he went to this bathroom, and we're like, we wonder if you can go in the bathroom while they're in there. And Kev's like, well, I gotta pee. Walks right in. Then Stephen Amell comes out. I yell, happy belated birthday. He comes, talks to me and my buddy. We're talking about beer and stuff. Then he goes back to signing. Kev rolls out. He's like, yo, I just pissed next to Stephen Amell. I'm like, yo, we just talked to Stephen Amell. So sorry about your piss sesh.
Yeah, I had like a lot of courage. I saw Stephen Amell go in there. I was like, hey, I'm going to go into. So I did. And then I remember I went in the bathroom. And when I went in, I didn't have to go. And then I was like, oh, shit, I actually do have to go.
You kind of do now. Yeah.
And I went. And then all of a sudden, I'm like kind of doing my thing. And I looked to the right of me. And there's Stephen Amell. And I was like, oh, my God, there he is.
Like, Stephen. Yo, Green Arrow, what up, dude?
Yeah, so then he washed his hands. He left. And then I left. And I thought I was cool as shit. And I was like, guys, guess who peed next to Stephen Amell? They're like, guess who just talked to him? And I was like, all right, guys, I'll see you later.
I couldn't have helped myself. I would have been like,
yeah, right,
yeah.
Yo, preach. I agree.
I was like, I get why they call you the Green Arrow. Security comes.
I'll get that looked at, mate. I'm sure there's a pill for that.
Not impressed.
But
good thing I didn't say that.
Yeah. But I think this is a good way to curve off of this and end this. Mick, thank you for coming on the show with us and talking with us. It's been a freaking pleasure.
Gonna do it again.
Yes, we're definitely gonna have you back on here because we'd love to know. We'd love to talk to you more about this nerdy stuff, talk more beer with you, and get more into that awesome collection you have behind you.
I'll change it around for you for next time. I'll put it on that stuff where it's more transformed setup.
Hell yeah. Perfect. Everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. And as always, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Don't forget, Enjoy your beer.